Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another edition of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, the YouTube channel, and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift. So let's get started with the first one today. Hey Aaron, since Betty White used the word ass on Raw, does this mean the Attitude Era is coming back? Here is my answer. N-O. Now, on to the serious questions here. First one from Showstopper526. Hey Aaron, is it possible Triple H will turn face after WrestleMania? Also, will Vince be getting into this storyline soon because it seems like the Authority is getting stale? Originally, the plan was for there to be a power struggle between Triple H and Vince McMahon, and that would lead to some sort of match at WrestleMania for control of the company. Now, I suppose they could still do that. They still have several weeks until WrestleMania, but Vince was supposed to be back by now. He was actually supposed to be back in December on a regular basis in the storylines, and he only made that one appearance at the TLC pay-per-view, and that was it. So it doesn't look like they are going in that direction anymore, which is kind of silly because they had spent all that time in the summer planting the seeds for it, but, things change. As far as Triple H being a babyface after WrestleMania, anything can happen. He pretty much has been half and half over the last several months anyways. I mean, one week he's a heel, the next week he's doing the DX catchphrases. So, I don't know what's going to happen in regards to Triple H and what's going to transpire. I don't know if he's going to be a regular on television. Maybe he'll go back to just being in a behind-the-scenes Raw. I mean, it's really uncertain at this point what's going to happen with Triple H. All right, this one comes from Amy Likes Candy 94. What did you think of Randy Orton losing to John Cena on Raw? I felt that Randy should have won all of his Elimination Chamber matches except for the match with Daniel Bryan. I just think that it would have been a better story to tell. What do you think? Well, it appears to me, based on the booking here, Randy Orton losing to most of the guys. I mean, he beat Christian, but he lost to Daniel Bryan, he lost to John Cena. Makes me think he's retaining the title at Elimination Chamber. That's usually how WWE books things. They make Randy Orton look weak, and then at the pay-per-view, he ends up winning when the title's on the line. I don't really have a problem with Orton losing every now and then, and in this particular case with John Cena, I don't mind him losing. I actually think it would have been better if they did a finish where Orton just tapped out to the STF because, obviously the title's not on the line, and you don't want to risk a long-term injury and jeopardizing your title run. So, logically, it makes sense for Orton just to tap out right away, and, he can make an excuse, that way, instead of just having Cena beat him with the AA. So, I would have done that differently, but, the title doesn't really mean anything at this point, and yes, it could mean more if the champions were protected better, but at this stage of the game, I don't think it really matters if Orton loses to Cena and Bryan and then wins at the Elimination Chamber. I mean, WWE's going to do their strong business one way or another, but yeah, if it was my call, I definitely would have done the finish differently, having Orton just tap out to the STF or not lose to Cena at all. But, they got to make John Cena look strong, especially if Randy Orton's winning the Chamber match and going on to the main event. Their mentality is to let Cena get his big win now. All right, next question here from Brandon GFYS. Hey Aaron, do you think that Jeff Hardy would go into the Hall of Fame twice? He would most likely go in with Matt as the Hardys, but he's done a lot as a singles wrestler and won all the titles he could possibly win. Once he is done with TNA, of course. I think that in all likelihood, Jeff Hardy will only be inducted once. I think guys going in twice, that's going to be reserved for the very top superstars, the Ric Flairs, the Hulk Hogans. It would surprise me if Jeff Hardy went in twice. I think that if he does go in, and I do think that in all likelihood, once he's done with TNA, as you mentioned, he will go in. I'm thinking he will probably go in with Matt as the Hardy Boys unless Matt really goes off the deep end and WWE doesn't want to have anything to do with him, in that case, they might just induct Jeff on his own. But, I only see him going in once, but anything can happen. All right, next one comes from Nick the Tool. What do you think the chances are of Brock Lesnar making a surprise appearance at the Elimination Chamber and attacking Cesaro or Christian and taking a spot in the chamber even though he is not booked for an appearance, even possibly winning the titles? Well, I think the chances of Brock Lesnar being in the Elimination Chamber are slim to none. I don't see it happening. I think that, let's say Brock Lesnar was put into the chamber match, then it would be Brock Lesnar versus Batista for the world title at WrestleMania. And if they're going to change plans for the world title match, I think that they would put Daniel Bryan in the title match at WrestleMania and not Brock Lesnar. So, they're in all likelihood going to stick to their original plan, which was Randy Orton versus Batista, and maybe add Daniel Bryan to the mix. And, there's been the talk about doing Brock Lesnar and Undertaker. So I think it's just unlikely that they go in a different direction. And they can always save Brock Lesnar versus Batista for SummerSlam or another pay-per-view later this year. I mean, they could do it, at the last minute. Up until Elimination Chamber, anything is possible. They could change plans. They could put Brock in the match, but I just don't see that happening. Oh, and something I wanted to add about that Brock Lesnar question real quick. Another thing is that I don't see WWE having Brock Lesnar appear on a pay-per-view as a surprise. That is something that they will want to announce in advance, because with the amount of money that they're paying him and the limited dates and all that, it makes sense to let people know about it so you can potentially get an increased pay-per-view buy rate out of Brock Lesnar. So, having him as a surprise is another reason why I don't think that he'll be in Elimination Chamber, coming out and attacking Christian or whatever and entering the match. All right, this next one comes from Ricky Lawson. Hey Aaron, please answer in video. My question is, why didn't WWE do Undertaker versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 22 instead of doing it at No Way Out? In my opinion, I think it would have been better if they had that match and put Mysterio and Orton in Money in the Bank. Well, the plan at the time in WWE was to push Rey Mysterio to the top, and, coming off the Eddie Guerrero tragedy, his death, they were trying to make Rey Mysterio the top Mexican superstar and, pay tribute to Eddie Guerrero. So, they were planning to have him win the title at WrestleMania, and, they weren't going to have Undertaker in there with Rey Mysterio. So, they had Undertaker and Kurt Angle as a match to establish Kurt Angle as the world champion. He had just won it the previous month, and, he needed a big win. And, WWE wasn't pushing Undertaker. He wasn't one of their priorities at the time. I mean, he ended up facing Mark Henry, of all people, at WrestleMania, so that should tell you all you need to know about that. And, they just wanted to build up Kurt Angle as the champion going into WrestleMania and, do the triple threat match. That way, Randy Orton could take the fall and Kurt Angle didn't have to do the job. So, I mean, that was their mentality with that whole storyline. But, yeah, I think that Undertaker and Kurt Angle definitely would have been a better match at WrestleMania. But, you look back and you could say, oh, we should have done this. But at the time, they were probably thinking that, I don't know if anybody thought Undertaker and Kurt Angle would be all that special, but it turned out to be, one of the best matches of that year. And, going in, you just don't know how good the match is going to be. All right, this one comes from TNA Apologist. Do you think Daniel Bryan needs a new look? A lot of people have said they would buy more Bryan merchandise, but they don't because it's too embarrassing to wear. JBL constantly calling Daniel Bryan the Flying Goat isn't going to help him and give him any favors either. And then he has the hashtag here, push kayfabe candy ass. Alrighty then. Well, regarding Daniel Bryan having a new look, a heel could always shave the beard as a way to get heat, but, Daniel Bryan does have the beard as an advantage in terms of merchandising, and, WWE feels that is something that they can market. Daniel Bryan without the beard is one less thing that he has, in terms of, the character and, merchandising and all that. So I don't see him losing the beard at this point. But yeah, he could certainly have better merchandise, and I hate the whole goat thing. I mean, that they can easily get rid of, and JBL calling him the flying goat. I mean, it's just so stupid. And the T-shirts with the picture of the goat flying. I mean, what kind of adult would wear that shirt in public? Um, Daniel Bryan. I know WWE is trying to market to kids, but a lot of Daniel Bryan's fan base consists of adult males, and they're not going to wear that stuff. I mean, I don't know why they can't just give Daniel Bryan some cool MMA style T-shirts that a lot of his fan base would buy. I mean, makes logical sense. John Cena is the guy that caters to the kids, and he's the one that sells the merchandise with all the different colors and the cartoons on it. But Daniel Bryan's got a different fan base. So, I mean, I think they could definitely improve with the Daniel Bryan merchandise. And, hopefully WWE listens to the people. And, they're the ones that are buying the merchandise, and they're the ones putting money in WWE's pockets. So why not listen to them? All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. If you're not subscribed already, click on the subscribe button, tell a friend, share this video on Facebook or Twitter. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the very latest news regarding Elimination Chamber as well as TNA Lockdown. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, you could submit questions, spring.me/AaronRiff. That is the place to submit questions for future videos. And on that note, I will see you guys next time for another edition of No DQ&A video.